Well, hello, everyone. Happy President's Day. I don't think I have anyone live with me on Zoom, but that's okay. You can catch this obviously on YouTube. So if I'm seeing you on YouTube, welcome. My name is Aron. I am the program coordinator for Project SOAR, which does adapted sports and recreation for veterans with disabilities. And I'm so glad you could make it. If you've been working out with me over the last several weeks that we've been doing this on Zoom and YouTube, we're changing things up just a little bit again. So we're sticking with that idea of a HIIT workout today. So that's that high intensity interval training. So we'll be moving from exercise to exercise. We'll be doing 40 seconds of each exercise and 20 seconds of rest. During that rest, I will try to demonstrate to you the next exercise during that gap. So you get a break, but I don't. But that's okay. Also, if you need to change that ratio, if you need to do 30 seconds working, 30 seconds rest, feel free to change that to whatever works for you. You could even do longer. You could keep that workout going while I'm doing the demonstration and just take 10 seconds. So I really want you to know that whatever I'm showing you up here, this is really your workout, and I'm going to try to give you different options and things that you can try to really tailor this to your needs. If somebody were live, I would try to make sure that I was specifically addressing anything that they were letting me know. Doing it recorded. If there's something that you're not really sure how to modify or to change so that it works for your body, please reach out to me. My number is in the comments. Feel free to let me know if there's something you want more clarification on, and I'll work with you so that these workouts work for you. As I mentioned, we're going to do 40 seconds on, 20 seconds rest. We're doing a total of 25 exercises today. And this is a little different than what we've done with some of our previous HIIT workouts. Our previous HIIT workouts, we've done about 8 to 10 exercises, had a rest, and then repeated the same 8 to 10 exercises a second or a third time. This time, no repeats. All the way through a different set exercise every time. And these exercises also, I'm kind of doing combos. So we're not going to do too much where it's just a simple movement like just a squat. You're going to see things like a squat with a bicep curl, or a squat followed by a lunge coming back to a squat. So again, this is not just a challenge us physically, but this is also a cognitive challenge. It's also a coordination challenge, which is part of our physicality, but not just thinking about strength, but also thinking about balance and flexibility. So we're kind of doing all of this all in one workout, but I'll give you options. So if something's not working for you, hopefully I'll give you another thing that will. All right. On that note, let's go ahead and get started. You won't need any equipment for this workout, but if you do have hand weights, there are a few exercises. We'll all be bringing hand weights into it just to show you that you can kind of up the intensity with a hand weight. If you want to up the intensity, but you don't have a hand weight, you can use things you have around the house. Water bottles are a great option. So if you have a couple water bottles, just sometimes having something in the hand when you're doing that curl, even if it's not a lot of weight, sometimes it's just helpful so that you can feel something. Otherwise, you can do it just using that idea of imagining that you're lifting something heavy. All right. So hopefully you've had a chance to warm up. It is a gorgeous day. It's hard to believe it's so warm in February. So I hope you've had a chance to get outside, maybe walk or run or bike or something. If not, never fear. We'll do about 2 minutes of warming up. I'm going to start my clock. And I'm going to change some stuff up against a little today. Usually I do jog, jack, high knees, and then squats. And today, instead of those high knees, I'm just going to pretend to jump rope. But you can do whatever set of exercises you want. I just like to mix it up. All right. So let's start now. And we'll start with the jog in place. I'm jogging in place. Again, if doing stuff that's high impact doesn't work for you today, don't worry about it. You can do a march or high knees, or you can do a side step. I'm just going to do some running today. Let's do 30 seconds of 4 different exercises just to get the blood pumping, the heart beating, so that we're ready when we start the workout proper. All right, that's 30 seconds. What did I say I was gonna do next? I said I was gonna do jacks. So you can do traditional jumping jacks. You could do seal jacks. You could leave your hands out entirely, and you could also do like a low impact version where you're kind of stepping. There we go, that's it. I have a hard time doing it without jumping. There we go, back to jumping. All right, 3 more seconds of your version of jacks. And then I said you can do high knees. I'm gonna jump rope. I'm not even gonna get my jump rope out. I'm just going to pretend that I'm jumping rope. But even if you're doing the jumping rope, you don't have to jump like this. You could do like a skip, 1 foot and then the other. Change it up. Like I said, it's really just about getting some movement in so we can get warmed up. And then finally, 30 seconds of squats. You can do just air squats. You can have your hands on your hips. Sorry, my knee was a little clicky, had to change position. You can even add a little hop in if you wanted to. I don't think I'm gonna do that. 10 more seconds, and then we'll move on to a little bit of dynamic stretching, and then we'll get right into that workout. All right, our 2 minutes is up. Let's keep the idea of the squats, but let's slow it down for this. And this is less about getting our heart rate up and more about sort of checking in with how our joints and everything feel. We're gonna do a lot of squats and lunges and other movement with our lower body. So let's just get a feel for where we are today. I'm gonna do 5 with my feet close together, really squeezing thighs together. See if you can keep the chest lifted, shoulder blades back and down the back, and press through the heels to come up. And seeing what your range of motion is, how this feels in all your joints. 1 more. And then just change it a little. Take those feet about hips distance apart, and then we'll do the same thing, nice and slow. Yeah, I have extra clicky knees today, so I may not do too much more jumping around. I may keep it more. Here we go, 1 more. I think that's 5. Let's do 5 more squats. Take it a little wider, and this time let the toes open out wider than the heels. We're gonna still keep the body upright, bend the knees lower down, and press back up by pressing through the heels. Nice and slow. Last one. We're gonna do some lunges today, so let's go ahead and see what that feels like. Let's do some reverse lunges. So maybe starting at the front edge of your mat or your space, and then taking a step back. I'll start with my right foot. Left knee is bent right over the ankle. I'm going to lower down. You don't have to come all the way to the ground. Again, we're kind of just checking out and seeing how everything feels. And then we'll switch and do the left leg back. Let's do 10 of these total. So that'll be 5 on each side. Two more on each side. One more on each side. All right. Let's think about kind of stretching out our hamstrings, but we're going to keep this dynamic. So we're not going to bend and hold. Let's alternate. I'm going to start with my right foot and stick it out in front of me. And you can see my heel is on the ground, my toes are up. And I'm going to bend like I'm reaching past the foot and come up. And then I'm going to switch sides. So let's do that again, 5 times on each side, 10 times total. That was 1. and 2 on both sides now. 3, 4, let's do 1 more on each side. Really reaching as far as you can. Still maintaining your balance. And then we'll return to center. And then another new kind of little stretch that we've not done together before, working that midsection and also a little bit of the shoulder here. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist, twist, and then reach. And then come back to the middle, twist, twist. Now we're going to reach to the other side. Same thing here. We're going to do 5 on each side. So that was 1. 2, twist, twist, and twist, twist. 3, and twist, twist, and twist, twist. 4, 1 more on each side. Twist, twist, reach, twist, twist, reach, and that's 5. And then the last thing we'll do is just check in with neck and shoulders, letting our ear fall over towards the shoulder. So I have my right ear falling towards my right shoulder, allowing a stretch in the left side. I can keep it right here. I could also take the opposite hand and stretch it away. I could also curl and touch kind of the crown of the head and then gently bring that a little deeper. Just be very careful here that you're not using too much pressure. You don't want to injure yourself. And then let's release, come back to the center, and then we'll go the other way. So left ear to left shoulder. You can stay right here. You don't need to add any of those other things, but if you want to, you could try to reach further away with that right hand, and or reaching up and over, touching the crown of the head on the opposite side with your left hand, and then just gently guiding that a little deeper. Just enough to feel that sensation on the right side of the neck. Shouldn't be painful. Just feeling that little bit of a stretch there. And then release. Maybe shake that out a little. If you feel like you need to do any more warming up or any more stretching before we get started, feel free to press pause, do what you need to do, and then come back in and join me. We're about to get started. Again, we're going to do 25 minutes of our workout, and then we'll cool down. So that's 25 exercises, 40 seconds work, 20 seconds rest. During the rest, I'll try to show you what the next exercise looks like. Bear with me. This is the first time I've done it this way. And if you like music, feel free to play some on your end. I don't like to play it on my end, 1, because of copyright, and 2, because I don't want you to not be able to hear me over the music. But feel free to play that if it motivates you. All right. We're going to start in about 10 seconds. And our first exercise is going to be a sumo squat. So wide, and we'll reach down and then press in front. I'm going to do that with a weight. You don't have to. So we're squatting down and reaching our hands down at the same time, keeping the body upright, pressing through the heels, bringing hands to the chest, and then pressing out in front at chest height, and then repeat. So we're doing this for 40 seconds. We're already halfway there. Do as many as you can with control. We got 10 seconds left. All right, we're going to rest now, or you get to rest. I'm going to show you what the next exercise looks like. So the next exercise is going to be a squat. And then we're going to take the right leg and do a curtsy lunge, and then back to a squat. So we're going to keep it on that right side. All right, and we're going to start in 2, 1, and go. Oh, sorry. Squat first, and then stepping back with the right foot into a curtsy lunge. Again. Keeping this at a pace that you can be safe. We're halfway there. We have 10 seconds left to this exercise. And we get to rest for 20 seconds. We're doing the same thing on the other side. So again, looks like this. Squat, come up, step the left foot back this time, bend both knees into a curtsy lunge, come up, then step back, and get ready to do it again. Let's begin. So we'll start with that squat, and then curtsy lunge. We're halfway there. Ten more seconds like this. All right, 20 seconds rest. I'll show you the next exercise. We're gonna have our arms overhead and come into a tricep extension 3 times. And then after that 3rd time, you're gonna take your hands to one shoulder and then back up, 3 more extensions, and then the other shoulder. So you're alternating and we're working. I'm grabbing weights for this one. You don't have to. You could also use 1 weight or 2 weights. So 3, and come down to 1 shoulder, and then 3 extensions again. And then the other shoulder. So we're halfway through. If 2 weights was more than you needed, you could take it to 1 weight, and it would look just the same. And again, you could clasp hands and not use a weight at all. All right, we're resting now. I'm going to tilt this up just a little bit. There we go. And our next exercise is abs. We're going to get on the ground, lean back, and we're going to crunch, alternating 1, crunch up. The more bent your knees are on the ground, the less intensity it is. So if you want more intensity, stretch those legs out in front. And if that doesn't feel right to you, you could do that crunch without the knee drive. So you could take that knee drive out, or you can add it back in. So you can really pull your belly back towards your spine. All right. We're going to stay here on the ground and do another set of abs. Knees are bent, feet are close to the seat. You're sitting up just a little bit and you're going to touch heels. So 1 and then the other. So you're rocking side to side. Let's begin. 40 seconds. Really pressing the low back down to the mat by pulling the belly in. We're halfway there. Ten more seconds. All right, 20-second break. We're going to keep it on the ground and keep working those abs. Let's really press the low back to the mat. We'll lift the legs up, and this is going to be a slow lower as far as you can and still maintain that connection of the low back, and then legs come up. So nice and slow. It's not about going fast here. This is actually more challenging when we slow it down. If you want to take off the intensity just a little, bend the knees, and then you can do the same thing. And you've taken some of that pressure off, some of that intensity out of it. Excellent. 20-second rest. Oh, we are staying on the ground, really getting those abs now. We're going to do elbow to knee. So just rocking side to side. Hands are behind the head. Keep the elbows wide, low back, press to the floor. And let's begin. So rocking side to side. Each time you come up, we're squeezing those abdominal muscles on the side, the obliques, to try to bring that elbow close to the opposite knee. We're halfway there. Ten more seconds. All right, 20 seconds rest. And we're staying on the floor. We're going to come onto the right side, onto a side plank. Now you can have your legs stacked or one staggered in front of the other, or you can come up on that lower leg like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that top arm, reach up and curl, come out of the curl, and then leg lift. So it's curl, unwind, leg lift. When you do that leg lift, see if you can lead with the heel. The heel is the first thing to come up. And that'll help you feel it in the outside of that hip. All right, and we're going to come right over and do the same thing on the other side. So again, you can stack your feet. I'll demonstrate that way on the side or the foot in front, or you can have that knee down. So I did that on the last one. I'm going to show you with feet stacked on this one. So coming into the side plank, curling and reaching, coming back up, and then leg lift. So regardless of which variation, the movement is very similar. If you feel like that combination is just too much regardless, you can take the leg lift out, stick with the curl and reach, or you can keep that combo. Now we get to rest. We're going to stay here on the mat, but we're going to come onto our hands and knees, but we're not going to be on those knees long. We're going to come into a bear hover. So the knees are just a few inches off the ground. You could hold that, or what we're going to do is we're going to extend one leg back. We're going to bring the knee in, put that foot down, bring the other knee in, put it down. And then with the opposite hand, we're going to touch that knee and then switch. Trying not to rock too much. So knee, knee, touch, touch. Knee, knee, touch, touch. If being in that bear hover seems too intense, come back onto your knees, extend, pull the knee in, alternate, and then keep doing that instead of that hover. So lots of ways to do this. Let's come back up on our feet. I'm going to grab one weight and put it in my right hand. You don't need to have a weight. Otherwise, make it fist and bring your hand to your shoulder. We're going to do a squat and then a thrust up. You can keep the other hand on your hip, or if you want to put it out to the side to help you stay balanced, you can do that. So we're squatting, driving through the heel, pressing up into that thrust on just one side. I picked my right side. 20 more seconds of this. 10 more seconds. And we're going to switch. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, you don't need a weight. If you want one, that's great. Otherwise, you can put your hand there and press up and imagine you're pressing something really heavy. All right. So squat, press, and thrust. 40 seconds on this side. Halfway. Ten more seconds. You got 20 seconds before the next exercise. That next exercise, I'm going to use 2 weights again. You don't need to use weights. You could hold your elbows right here. We're going to have an isometric hold, and then we're going to alternate. One side is going to curl up, and then we'll do the other side. So whenever the one side, and we're going, so join me. Whenever the other side is curling, it's a half curl up. The other side is holding steady. And again, if you're not using a weight, I want you to imagine that you're holding something really heavy as you curl up and as you come down and as you hold steady. Ten more seconds. All right, we're going to come back to those reverse lunges that we did before on this next exercise. So you can keep your hands at your hips and step back one and the other, or if you want to add a combo with or without the weights, you could step back and curl. We're going to start. So you choose going at your pace for this 40-second work interval. And remember, you can see I have a chair in the background. You could always use the chair or the wall to help you balance if you need a little support to stay steady. 10 more seconds. "20 seconds rest starts now. Our next exercise, I'll go ahead and demonstrate, is a deadlift. And then when we're down here, we're gonna row, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then come back up from that deadlift, and then repeat. We start now. So deadlift, keep the hands really close to the legs as you come down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, bringing the hands to the chest. Lower back down, come back out of that deadlift. Again, you don't need to use weights, but if you have some or a couple water bottles, just to feel that resistance, you're welcome to. Driving through the heels as you come up, squeezing the glutes. And rest. We're coming back down to the mat. We're going to come into a bridge for this next exercise, and we're going to march it out. So we'll lift one knee and then the other. And let's go. So pressing through the heel on that opposite foot, the one that's staying on the ground, as you lift the other knee up. If this is more intensity than you would like, you could hold in your bridge, or maybe lift one heel and then the other. So not lifting the whole foot off the ground, but still getting that sensation of alternating without lifting the entire foot. Really pressing through the heel of that foot that's still on the ground. That's how you keep your hips lifted. Little rest here. We're going to do another bridge exercise. The next one will stay lifted, and we are going to lift both heels and then come back down, and we'll keep doing that. So that'll be the next exercise. So another variation of a bridge. Let's begin. So lift into that bridge, squeeze the glutes, lift the heels, press into the balls of the feet, and then press the heels back down. Lift the hips a little bit more. Lift the heels, lower. Nice and slow with control. See if we can really feel our muscles working. Ten more seconds. And let's rest. We're going to stay here on the mat. We're going to stay in a tabletop. And what we're going to do is we're going to extend one leg behind us and do a little pulse. Lift, lift. And after that second lift, leaving that leg up, we're going to bend the elbows and lower into a tricep push-up. And then a second one. And then we switch legs. Lift, lift, push-up. You don't have to come all the way down in your push-up, but see if you can keep your elbows next to the side of the body. Oh, I forgot to lift, 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 lift. You could also leave that push-up out and simply alternate side to side with that lift, lift, and then lift, lift. So do what works best for you. Little rest here. Whew. And I realized I was supposed to stay on the right leg and then switch to the left leg. So let's just do a tricep push-up from here. So let's really work on that tricep push-up this time. So rotating so the creases of the elbows face forward and lowering forehead and chest down. Again, you don't have to come all the way to the mat. Come to where you can keep control as you press up. See if you can even connect your breath with this. Inhale as you bend the elbows. Exhale as you press and straighten. Rest. We only have 4 exercises left. So for this next one, we're going to do 2 overhead presses and then alternating. One chest fly. Press, press, other arm does the fly. So let's go. Press, press, really squeezing those shoulder blades together, and then one side flies. Press, press, keep a little bend in those knees, don't lock them out. We're halfway there. Keep this going at your own pace. I'm using weights, but remember, you don't have to. You could use heavier weights too if you wanted to. Or lighter. And 3 more exercises left. So this next one I'll demonstrate. We're going to do 2 bent over flies. Your knees are soft, back is flat. 1, 2, and then stand up straight, lateral raises. 1, 2. Let's go. 40 seconds, your own pace. That bent over with a flat back. 1, 2, Standing up straight. If this feels intense, let your elbows bend a little bit more so you can really concentrate on squeezing those shoulder blades together. And then squeezing the tops of the shoulders here, really getting those deltoids strong. 10 more seconds. Rest. Only 2 exercises left. You know what? In this next one, we're going to make nice and simple. We're going to do a front squat. So feet about hips distance, squatting down, keeping the back upright. I'm going to keep my weights and rest them on my shoulders. 2, 1, begin. Really letting the weight come into the heels and press through the heels as you come up. Halfway there. Ten more seconds. And then a rest, and then our very last exercise. Rest. I'm going to drop one of my weights and keep the other one for the last exercise. Again, you don't need to use a weight, but you can if you want. For this next exercise, we're going to step to the side and then press like a chest press. Let's go. So step, together, press, step, together, press. If you're not using a weight, press the palms of your hands together. We're halfway there. We're almost done with the work portion of today's workout. All right, and we are taking a rest. Get a drink of water. That was a long stretch without a break. So get a drink of water, use the restroom if you need to, cool down a little. And in about a minute, we'll go ahead and start our cool down together. I think it's possible somewhere along the way I missed one of these. So I apologize. All right. All right. Well, if you need longer, go ahead and press pause. Otherwise, let's go ahead and do our cool down. I'm going to start on the floor, and I'm going to demonstrate our quad stretch lying down. Of course, you can also do the standing. We've done that together before, but today I feel like lying on one side, extending both legs, and then bending that top knee. You don't have to do a reach back. You can simply flex that foot and really reach that heel towards your seat. If you're able to make that connection, you can grab onto the ankle or the top of the foot and pull that heel a little closer to your seat. You could also use a belt and loop it around the top of your foot and hold the ends if you're not able to make that connection and you still want to feel using a little pressure to come deeper into the stretch. Try to not only think about stretching the front of the thigh, but also this hip flexor and the front of the body. So this is also opening the chest, even a little in that shoulder. And then let's release and come over to the other side and do the same thing. It's so important when we do a tough workout to take the time to cool down, stretch all the muscles that we work so hard, create a little space in our joints. This is going to help us recover so that we can do another workout later, or even more importantly, so that we can go about kind of our normal everyday functioning without being sore and miserable, and so that we can do all the things that are fun, whether that's, any of the events that Project SOAR is doing, like golfing and climbing and skiing or anything else. But to do that, we have to take care of recovery as well as the work part. Let's release that. I'm going to keep it low and come into a lunge. I'm going to pull my chair up just to help me steady. So I'm going to take that right foot forward. And I can leave my hands on my hips, or if you want to use that front thigh, see if we can sink a little bit more into that opposite hip flexor. So this is a nice stretch again for the front of the leg and the hip flexor. So we already did that once with that quad stretch, but we still get into some of those same muscles here. And then after another couple breaths, let's start to shift the hips back, straighten the front leg, lift the ball of the foot, and fold over the front leg. And you don't have to have your leg perfectly straight. It's straighter than it was when it was in the lunge. In fact, I'd like you to at least keep a little micro bend. Don't try to lock out the knee. After a few breaths on this side, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So let's do one more breath here. Start to shift back into that lunge, and then we'll switch. The right knee will come down, the left foot will come forward. Again, using whatever you need to get balanced and steady here, and to allow yourself to feel that openness on the other side, really sinking in. You could even reach your arms up if you wanted to. Do a little stretch in the abdomen and the chest. And then when we're ready, we'll shift the hips back, straighten the front leg, and fold over the front leg. Couple more breaths here. And then let's come out of this and come onto our seat. We can extend our legs in front of us. And let's try to sit like right on the sits bones, like that bony part of our seat. It's okay to have the knees bent as your legs are in front of you, but see if you can resist the urge to flop the legs open. See if you can rotate through the hip joint so that your knees and thighs and toes are all pointed up. Let's take a big breath in. Pull the belly to spine and use that core strength to hinge through your hips and fold forward. It's not so important that you're able to touch your toes. It's more important that we keep the spine long and keep that core strength drawing in. So your hands can be on the floor. They can be on your legs. If they do touch your toes, that's fine. You could even, once again, you had like a belt, You can put it across the bottoms of your feet. Again, if you like that connection and using a little bit of strength to come into it, that's fine. Let's take a few breaths here. Really allow the backs of the legs to open up, backs of the ankles where the Achilles tendon runs, the back of the calves, the hamstrings, wherever we're holding on to any tension in the back of the legs, just allowing that to work its way out as we breathe. Let's take one more breath here. And then let's go ahead and sit up tall. Let's keep the left leg extended and let the right leg fall open and bend the knee and pull the foot to the inside of that left leg. So we're kind of doing a tree pose but seated, sorry. And then we're going to do another forward fold over just this left leg. So sitting up tall, exhale, pull the belly in, folding over again, hands land wherever it makes sense for you. You could even use that strap along the bottom of the foot if you wanted. And then let's sit up tall. We're going to keep the legs in this configuration and just rotate until we're facing that bent right knee. And I'm going to take the opposite hand, the left hand, and put it on my right knee. And I'm going to reach my right arm over my head into a side bend, like I'm reaching to touch those left toes. This one is always really intense for me. So if you're feeling a lot of intensity as well, remember that you don't have to do your maximum. We're stretching here, we're recovering. If you feel like this is a lot, just back off a little. Maybe do like 75 or 80% so this feels relaxing and easeful rather than forceful, so that you can actually let your body cool down and recover, so that your breaths can be long and even instead of strained. And then let's come back up. And let's do that on the other side. So right leg extends, left knee bends and comes out to the side. Let's keep that rotation in the hips so that our knee is up towards the sky. Big inhale and exhale. Let's fold over the right leg this time. Still thinking about that breath. Adjusting our position in this pose or in this stretch so that our breathing can be smooth and even instead of strained. Soothing and recovering, not just in the physical tissues of our body, but also our nervous system. Next inhale, we can come back up. Rotate through the upper body. Let the right hand come to the left knee. Left arm overhead into that side bend. Next inhale, let's come out of this. And let's come onto our backs. We're going to do a little figure 4 stretch to get a little bit of a hip stretch here. I'm going to add a little twist in as well. So let's cross the right ankle over the left knee. And you can stay here just like this. You don't need to change anything. Some people like to bring the legs in towards the chest and maybe even wrapping hands around that left thigh. You're welcome to do that. It gives you a little room here that if you feel like you need to bend and straighten that left knee or maybe rotate through the foot or ankle, even rocking gently side to side. You just kind of check in and see if there's any other little spots that could use a little recovery and opening. And then if you do have your foot lifted, let's go ahead and put it back down on the ground. We'll let the legs stay like they are. The arms can come out to the sides and T-shaped palms down. You could also do like cactus arms, palms up if you prefer. Whatever allows you to keep your shoulder blades rooted down as we let the legs fall over to the left. Now I always have to pick my hips up a little. So you can make that adjustment, or if you want to uncross the legs or maybe cross them tighter. There's lots of ways to do this. So feel free to make any adjustments so that this twist feels appropriate in your body. And if your legs don't come all the way to the ground, you could even put a little pillow or a rolled up towel there so that they don't feel like they're just sort of hanging there. So they have the ability to rest. Let's do another breath here. And then on the next inhale, we'll pull our belly to spine and use that to come back to the middle. And we'll switch sides. So left ankle comes over the right knee this time. Again, you can stay here. Gravity's doing a lot of the work for us. But if you like that sensation of bringing the legs and torso closer together, feel free to come into that variation, either staying still or finding any of those little movements. And then if that right foot is lifted, let's bring it back down. Find our twist on the other side. So legs come over to the right this time. And then let's come back to center and uncross the legs. We will end in a seated position. I'm going to cross my legs, but you can sit any way that works for you. Thank you so much for joining me and for bearing with me. It's the first time I've done no repeats. We might try another version of this on Wednesday, so I hope that you'll join me. If you have any feedback, any questions, any concerns, please reach out to me. I'd love the feedback. It helps me adjust these workouts so that they work for you. You are the reason that I'm here and that I do this. So I want to make sure that this is as helpful for you as possible. So thank you so much. And I will see you on Wednesday if I don't see you at one of our other events. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.